Hello, and welcome to CambriLearn's online open house. I'm Cecilia Reinecker, the co-founder and head of school at CambriLearn, and we're absolutely thrilled to have you with us tonight. Whether you're a parent exploring flexible schooling, an education advisor, or a student dreaming of something more, you're in exactly the right place. At CambriLearn, we're more than just an online school. We're a movement, one built to protect potential, not standardize it. Because we truly believe every child is born unstoppable and that education should reflect that. Tonight, we're going to take you inside the CambriLearn experience, from our platform to our people, and show you how we combine academic excellence, personalized learning, and real flexibility to help students succeed on their terms.
They told us to wait. Wait to be taught. Wait to be chosen. Wait for the bell to ring. But what if you're not built for waiting? What if you learn faster or slower? If your body needs the morning to move or your brain needs silence to think. They didn't see what we saw. They didn't see us fail. Try again. Cry. Get back up. Again, they only saw the podium, the scholarship, the pass mark, the smile. They didn't see what it took, but we did. And we're not done. We weren't made to fit in rows. We weren't made to wait. We were born unstoppable.
To kick things off, I'm going to hand over to Hugo, who's going to dive into the exciting world of CambriLearn's curriculum options and show you how we're raising the bar for academic excellence, flexibility, and future-ready learning. Over to you, Hugo.
Thanks so much, Cecilia. It's a real pleasure to be with you. I want to stress that CambriLearn is really about treating every individual learner as the unique person that they are. No two learners are alike. So why should people be required to learn the same way as each other at the same pace? Hence, we offer multiple curriculum pathways. We're an umbrella school that's geared to leave no child behind. For every child, for different needs, different learning styles, and to align with the various goals that different children may have for their futures. We currently, therefore, have 4 different prestigious academic qualification programs. We have the International British Curriculum. This is offered from early years, from as young as 4 years of age, all the way to A levels, which is beyond year 12 of school in most countries. This is internationally recognized in 166 countries. It's following the curriculum that prepares students for the international GCSEs, their AS, and their A-level exams, the renowned British International Qualifications, otherwise known as Cambridge International for many people. But there's an equivalent British exam board that we also offer, the Pearson EdExcel qualifications. These are courses also for the international GCSE and AS level. They're an alternative to Cambridge. No practicals are required for them. They're modular in the exam approach, which allows you to take certain subjects and split their papers, the writing of the exam papers, across sessions. It's a personal preference by subject as to which exam board you wish to take for your subjects at the British level. When it comes to the South African, you've also got choice. We believe in choice. So the Curriculum and Assessment Policy, CAPS, as it's known for short, is the national curriculum of South Africa. We offer it from grade R to 12, so all the way to what's called matric. KBV is the adaptation of that curriculum in Afrikaans. In other words, Afrikaans home language, English as a first additional, and then everything else taught in Afrikaans. This allows students to study in their home language of preference, either English or Afrikaans, or you can take both at first language level even. We offer the Afrikaans version of CAPS up to grade 7 this year, but from 2026, this will be available up until grade 11 too, and grade 12 will come in 2027 in Afrikaans. It's already been available since last year in English. And then we are proud to offer you our newest offering, the American curriculum. Now, the US curriculum is interesting because at CambriLearn, it's designed for students from middle to high school to work in the most hyper-flexible way you can imagine. It's accredited as a pathway to graduation for every university in South Africa and recognized, of course, by American academic institutions. But it's completely asynchronous. It's the one program we have on offer that can be entirely done at your own discretion in terms of pacing, examinations. It's all examined online. No need to even travel to an external exam center like you have to for the British or the South African final school leaving exams. And you leave with an American high school diploma. Credible. So all our offerings are backed by international accreditation, and they are university recognized pathways. We want to stress this. This means students can pursue their dreams both locally and globally. We're accredited by Pearson edXL, for example. Our CAPS or CARBFIA is registered with Sakai, which is one of the Malusi accredited exam boards. And we are proud to be a Cognia accredited institution. This is a mark of distinction because it's the biggest non-profit teacher body accrediting schools, both virtual and physical, globally. And it demonstrates our commitment to providing students with world-class education. We want to free your schooling. We want to untether it. We want to make sure you are unstoppable, as is the theme tonight, as Cecilia already alluded to. Okay, but curriculum and accreditation alone does not guarantee success by any means, right? It's how you deliver it that makes all the difference. So, with CambriLearn, we are offering you unrivaled flexibility. Really, you've got synchronous and asynchronous delivery for most of the programs. So you've got live classes by passionate and dedicated teachers. You're going to meet some of them today. And the students themselves are going to be speaking as to the experience of being scholars through CambriLearn. But you've also got recordings of these live sessions, allowing you to study in your own time at your own pace and not compelling you to keep up with the class. You can go faster, you can go slower. You go at the pace that suits you, the individual. And on top of that, we offer one-on-one academic support via direct teacher chat and an incredible support team who are often the unsung heroes. You'll get to meet them tonight too, because sometimes you just need technical help and academic advice, help with navigation of the platform, with onboarding, and they're the team that assist you every step of the way and hold your hand, because online does require that personalization, and that's what we strive to achieve. So we've seen our students thrive everywhere in the world, whether it's gaining admission to top-tier universities, tertiary institutions all over the world. I'm going to name some of them as examples of where our students have gone. You'll know these: the London School of Economics, in South Africa, WITS and UCT, Glasgow, Reichman University. They've launched their own businesses, our graduates. They've competed professionally and at an elite level in multiple sports. And they're simply regarded as distinguished by their passion to self-educate and to self-pace their learning, to take control of their learning. That confidence and self-esteem that comes with the autonomy that this form of schooling permits is actually a benefit for life. It's priceless. So we're here to build both your knowledge, but also your self-belief, because parents, partners, kids, we're not here just preparing you for tests and exams. That's not what school's about. We're preparing you for life. That's very important. And on that note, I'd like to hand back to our founding principal, Cecilia, head of school here at CambriLearn. Cecilia will be taking you through the amazing CambriLearn teachers, a class of distinction. Over to you, Cecilia.
Thank you, Hugo. So I think most people who know me know that one of my favorite topics is talking about our teachers, and I have to actually just remind myself to remain focused. Otherwise, I can ramble off when it goes. Honestly, when I speak about our teachers, it's like I light up inside because I am so incredibly proud of the teachers that we have. So firstly, our teachers are not just fully qualified subject specialists. I mean, it goes without saying that they should be fully qualified subject specialists. but they also they're fully trained to tailor their teaching to meet the individual needs of our students. Many of our teachers have taught in both international and local contexts, giving them a deep understanding of different curricula and learning needs. A number of our teachers serve as examiners for Cambridge, for Edexcel, and for Sakai, which is a testament to their expertise. And this is so incredibly important because each curriculum has its own methodology. And we focus on teaching exam technique so that the students know exactly what to expect when they get to that final exam. So often the content, the learning material across the different curricula is, quite the same, but the methodology is so different. And that's why we ensure that the teachers who are teaching the British curriculum or the CAPS curriculum are fully qualified and have the relevant expertise to teach the students how to answer the questions, how marks are awarded. Certain marks are awarded for analysis, certain marks are awarded for evaluation. And it's so important that they know this so that the students know exactly what is expected of them. Another important thing just to note is that for our British curricula, our assessments are all built from past paper questions, and they're all marked by trained, experienced teachers, ensuring that the learners are thoroughly prepared for those final exams. Another thing that I am incredibly proud of is that when teachers join CambriLearn, they tend to stay with us. A common joke is teachers come to CambriLearn and this is where they plan on retiring. They're not going to leave. And this is so important because it just shows that we've built a supportive, collaborative environment where our teachers are happy and they're able to focus on what they do best, which is teaching. That stability means that they have the energy and the commitment to go above and beyond for our learners, which, that's the most important, is our learners at the end of the day.
So I've got a question for you. Cecilia, you'll agree with this, I'm sure. Online teaching is very different from in-person teaching, the traditional classroom. So how would you say our CambriLearn teachers manage to keep these students engaged on a screen, in the virtual environment?
For sure, yes. So absolutely, it's very different to being in a classroom. And one of the things that I personally found quite challenging is that it's very easy for a student to hide behind a screen. So it's very easy for a student to attend a question and answer interactive session or a live lesson and switch off their cameras. And it does make it very difficult to connect with students. But our teachers are experienced in the online space. So they know that many students are, it is going to be a challenge to engage with certain students. And we understand that there's slow progress over time as students become more familiar with their teachers and more familiar with their peers. And when the students understand that this is a safe space for them to express themselves and to ask questions as well, which then definitely helps to, improve the engagement. Our teachers also provide personalized feedback on all our students' work, which helps the students to see exactly where they're doing well and what they need to do to improve. That formative feedback is so important because in most traditional schools, you'll find that with marking, you'll just get a cross to say it's incorrect, but there's no guidance given to the student or example given to the student of what they need to do to improve. A lot of students, need to see. So what is the expectation? Furthermore, our live lessons and our question and answer sessions are supported with videos, with quizzes, and resources to break things up and to keep it interesting. And then, most importantly, our teachers get to know the students individually, their strengths, where they struggle, what goals they have, so that the learning feels more relevant and motivating.
So, Cecilia, I think let's just deep dive that a little bit further. Why is it so important to have these world-class, board certified or board experienced top tier teachers. Why is that so important to our mission to bring, accessible, affordable, but also highly flexible, internationally accredited education? Why is that so important?
Well, we firmly believe that excellent teaching is the most reliable way to protect each child's potential. Our teachers, as I've mentioned before, are subject experts, and that they carefully plan, explain concepts clearly, and adapt their approach when students need more support. As I've mentioned, as well, when it comes to the marking, they provide detailed formative feedback, again, so that the learners can fully understand where they went wrong and what steps they need to take to improve, whether it be referring them back to certain live lessons. As you mentioned earlier, our live lessons are recorded and uploaded to our system. So it's so great that the teachers can refer them back to a live lesson, maybe even a live lesson that that specific teacher didn't teach. Maybe the way that teacher has taught the concept didn't resonate with the student. So the teacher could refer them to perhaps an external sort of a video as well. There's so many ways that having these top tier teachers, why it's so important to have them, because they truly also take interest in each individual student and put effort into ensuring that each of these individual students thrive. Furthermore, they also work very closely with our academic support team, which I'm sure somebody's going to be speaking about later. And the teachers work closely with our academic support team to ensure that we're proactively reaching out to parents as soon as concerns arise, so that the necessary steps can be taken immediately to improve learning. Whether it means adding more lessons, adjusting the pace, getting a learner to redo an assessment, that is so important, because one of the pain points in traditional schools is that parents often feel that they've got to wait for the end of the term and then they get a big surprise. There are no surprises with CambriLearn. We've got a student tracker that I know is going to be spoken about a little bit later, where parents have full oversight of how the students are performing. But over and above that, our teachers work closely with academic support to ensure that nothing falls through the cracks. And then just lastly, I think, is that our teachers create an environment where learners feel respected, supported, and confident to participate. And I think this ties back to what I said earlier about us having happy, loyal staff. So happy, loyal staff become happy teachers who treat their students better. So so hope that answers the question.
Thanks so much, Cecilia. Absolutely. I mean, I'm inspired by your leadership, your way you treat your teachers, which obviously, as you said, carries through to their passion, their enthusiasm, and their care for their children. It really does. Because great teachers don't just, teach the curriculum, they teach the child, right? They unlock their potential. This is what CambriLearn is all about, what any school should be about, the children. The end of the day, lest we forget. And I think that's what you have instilled as an ethos across the faculty. So well done. And I love hearing the stories of your teachers, and they do truly communicate that happiness in the workplace, which translates, there's no doubt. But let's now talk about those unsung heroes I mentioned earlier, the people behind the scenes, the support team, the advisors, those that actually handhold and keep the clients happy through the journey. So while teachers may be the face that's seen most often on screen and teaching and delivering lessons and interacting with students, there's a whole team of dedicated people behind the scenes who make it happen, who make the CambriLearn experience possible, the journey of the customer and the student successful. It's our success teams. It's from our customer support team, our academic support team, Cecilia, which you mentioned, to our student success consultants that are personally looking after a child through their journey. They all work tirelessly around the clock to ensure that you feel heard, you're seen, you're fully supported. So what makes the difference is that we don't just enroll students and then disappear, leave you to your own devices. We're here with you every step of the way. We're checking in with you frequently. We're adjusting your learning plan. We're taking that student analytics, that student tracker dashboard that you mentioned, Cecilia, to ensure that we fast track solutions to problems. We detect them early. We flag concerns and we address them. And then we can actually celebrate the wins. It's a personalized, personable service. It's responsive and it's there to support the ultimate success of the child. It's built to last, in other words, sustainable. So I'd like to then introduce you the head of that team, that very team I'm talking about, Janice. She is the head of our client support, our customer support, and she's here to tell us about how they work. Hi, Janice. Thanks for being here with us.
Hi, Hugo. Thank you.
So what does the customer team support actually do? And why is it so important for families and students to be aware of your role?
So our customer support team is often the first point of contact for families and students who have questions or concerns or need assistance to resolve a technical issue, anything along those lines. So whether it's helping a parent log in and navigate the platform for the first time, for example, or a student needing assistance in accessing their next class, our goal is to make sure that the online learning experience is as smooth and stress-free as possible. So our aim is to ensure that every family feels supported, understood in their queries and concerns, and are left confident throughout their journey with us at CambriLearn.
So tell me, Janice, what are the most common issues or requests that you get faced with by families in your customer support team?
We see a variety of queries come through, primarily around platform navigation. So while families are learning their way around, assessment submissions, and then further questions around subject choices and changes where necessary further down the line, and also queries related to academic progress. Our families want to ensure that they're on top of their child's learning journey. So we're here to guide them through the practical aspects of that. We also understand that transitioning to an online or hybrid learning environment can be overwhelming at first. So part of our role is offering reassurance and helping parents feel confident, as I said earlier, and supported from day one.
And so, Janice, how does your team actually approach all these interactions that you have with clients? What is your team's support philosophy?
So we lead with empathy and understanding of the situation and responsiveness. So our philosophy is that every question is important. Every family deserves to feel supported on a personal level. And our goal is to provide positive and reassuring guidance in every interaction, no matter how big or small the query is or how complex it might become. We're here to make sure that we're giving that reassuring guidance so that the parents know what the next step is, what to expect next. They know they're on the right path.
And what's something that families are often most surprised about or perhaps impressed by when it comes to your team?
I think given the online setting, they often express gratitude for how personal and responsive our teams are, whether it's our general customer support team, the student success team who are helping them progress to the next level, or the academic support team, which you mentioned earlier. We're not just here to solve problems. We engage and we interact. We're here to build those relationships and wherever possible, deliver solutions that work best for them and their child in their specific circumstances and needs. So especially when facing difficult decisions, parents have often told us that they felt genuinely supported and heard in those difficult times or in those difficult decisions, which means a lot to us. That's what we strive for.
Thank you so much, Janice, for taking the time to walk us through your team's incredible role. We really do appreciate you. It could not happen without you. And you must know that our community does appreciate your hard work and that you often
Great, thanks, Hugo.
are not always aware of it. Now I'd like to hand over to Connor. Connor, my teammate, who's going to show you what life inside our platform actually looks like. Connor, over to you.
Right. Thanks so much, Hugo. Let's go ahead and dive into the platform now so that you all can see what our students and our families experience every day online. This is the student profile. Front and center, we have important announcements and communications in green. So anything that is important that you need to action quickly, you'll be able to view all of that here. And when you start with CambriLearn, you will get a welcome pack that you can go through, which will explain how to open a lesson, how to submit an assignment or a test, how to view your results. All of that will be included in this welcome pack or guide. Further down, we have an interactive student calendar. So you can view upcoming live lessons and Q&A sessions with our teachers by day or by week or by month. You can also download a progress report for yourself to show you all of your lesson progress and assessment progress on one page. On the right, we have tasks. You can view outstanding tasks and upcoming tasks that you need to complete. Further down, we've got the students' list of courses. You can view this in a more traditional list view, where you can see lesson progress, as well as the overall course average, or you can use a grid view, which will show you split results according to your assignment results, tests and exams, as well as the overall course average. Below the list of courses is a bookmark section and a notes section. So as you work through your CambriLearn courses, you can bookmark any lesson or any piece of content to revisit it later on. And you can leave notes for yourself as well, which is really helpful for revision. You're also able to rate all of our lessons and all of our group sessions with our teachers. So leaving a rating for us will enable us to improve or to let us know that we're doing a great job. And finally, we have a forums section. This is where students can engage with one another on social topics or on academic topics. And these are grouped by course. So you will be placed into forums if you elect to, with students who are doing the same courses as you. Let's dive into an example of a CambriLearn course. This is a British curriculum high school science course. What you'll see is that we provide you with an introduction section at the beginning of the course, which will give you all of the information that you need to know about its structure and about when to do all of your tasks. If we open up the course outline for this subject, we can see that there are a number of lessons to complete within each week. And once you've completed a certain number of weeks, there will be some kind of assessment that is due. In this example, we've got an assignment that is due after the first 2 weeks. Now, this is structured, but it is also self-paced. In this British curriculum, you can complete these weeks of lessons at a different pace if you need to. So you can work more slowly, for example, and take more than a week to complete these lessons if you need to. You can also do the reverse and accelerate your learning. However, once you've completed up to lesson 2.3, that's now time for revision and then to tackle this assignment 1. And you'll see that our courses include regular assessment all the way through the year, as well as more serious assessment in the form of tests and exams. Diving into one of the weeks and all of the lessons contained within that week, first, you will see a This Week document. This will break down what all of the lessons and activities are that we're suggesting you complete within week number 3 in this course. You'll see that we provide a list of resources if any are needed. These are generally going to be very easily sourced household items, and we'll give you a structure to complete every day. So for example, on Monday, we're suggesting you complete lesson 3.1, as well as the worksheet and activity within that lesson, and lesson 3.2, and then moving on to these experiments the next day on Tuesday. And you can adapt this weekly schedule as needed. Like I mentioned before, if you want to work more slowly or more quickly, you can do so, but this order of completion should be followed. On the left, we've got related video lessons. These will be recommended recordings of past live lessons that our teachers have done. What you'll also see in all of our lessons is related video lessons. So as you're working through the CambriLearn curriculum, we will recommend certain past recordings of live lessons that our qualified teachers have done. And at any time, you can jump over to the full library of all recorded live lessons for the subject that you're currently working in. Also, like I mentioned before, if you want to bookmark this particular lesson, you can do so. And if you want to leave a note for yourself to revisit this later, you can do so. Now that we've covered the planning for this week, I'm going to move over to the first lesson in this week, which is a lesson on states of matter. So what you'll see is there are a number of lesson parts, and the first lesson part is the main curriculum content and the instructions that need to be followed. So this will either be read out by the student or by the adult who's facilitating their learning. This will generally consist of a mix of written and graphical lesson content, which explains the topic. And then usually there will be a number of other parts in a lesson. In this example, we've got a worksheet to complete and then also a practical activity. Diving into worksheet 3.1 here, this is an interactive digital online quiz where students can interact with elements on screen in order to understand the topic at hand. So in this example, if you were to enter an incorrect answer, it would immediately tell you that answer is incorrect. And you can reread the question, re-engage with the topic and enter the correct answer and check the answers as you go. These are fun online quizzes that help students understand the lesson content as they work through it. And finally, we've got practical activity 3.1 in this lesson. This is the final part of lesson 3.1. This is an exercise designed to explore viscosity in fluids. So there's a set of very basic household materials that would need to be sourced, as well as a method for completing this exercise. Once you've completed the lesson, you can click over to the next lesson if you want to dive into that straight away, or you can return to the main lessons page for the subject. Don't forget, if you're enrolled into CambriLearn's premium package, you can contact your teachers at any time with this button in the bottom right. So all of your teachers will be listed here. And if you have a question about a topic in your course, or if you'd like some advice on preparing for an upcoming test or exam, you can contact your teachers on demand here and receive assistance from them directly. If you have a platform query as a student where you need to understand how to open a lesson or view a video, how to download something, if you need any assistance at any point, you can reach our support team via chat directly on the website or over WhatsApp. And this feature is available in the parent account as well, which we'll dive into in a moment. Now, let's explore the CambriLearn platform from the perspective of a parent or a tutor. Parents and tutors will have a student tracker where they can be linked to their child or the student that they're supporting and view that student's progress in more detail. At the top, we have a number of tabs. The dashboard tab is the main academic monitoring tab. We also have the ability to purchase new subjects at any time and to monitor and adjust current subscriptions and to view billing information and make adjustments to things like billing dates and the bank card being used. Parents can also download all CambriLearn report cards that have ever been generated for a student and view user guides for all the curriculums that their children are enrolled into. On this dashboard tab, you can think of this as a report card that is updated live in real time. For every subject, there will be a detailed set of results. You can see results and completion of assignments, tests, and exams, as well as the overall average. There's also some really useful data in here. you can see how your child or student compares to all other CambriLearn students doing the same course, and you can view a percentile rank of their attainment. Further down, you can view activity statistics. This is all of your child or your student's engagement with the CambriLearn platform. Number of days active per month, same for number of lessons completed each month, and group session attendance and engagement with our teachers in live chat, all trackable by month since they were enrolled initially. And again, at any time, as a parent or as a tutor, if you require any immediate support, if there's any guidance that we need to provide, you can contact our support team, again, over website chat or on WhatsApp. I'd like to emphasize that you're never navigating CambriLearn alone. The support team is always there to help if you have any problems or issues or need any advice. I hope you'll see that this platform is built to support independent learning, but with a lot of structure. It's flexible, but it's not completely hands-off. And that is a huge difference between CambriLearn and many other online school providers. I'd like to remind everyone, if you have a question, please pop it into the chat. We will answer as many questions as we can during the Q&A session. But now I'll give over the floor to our resident CambriLearn teacher, Mr. Ivan Kelly.
Thank you, Connor. Good evening, everybody. So our story at CambriLearn is really told through the stories of our students. And we are joined this evening by two of them, by Martinez and by Hannah. So good evening, Martinez. We'll start with you. How are you this evening?
Good evening. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I just find it amazing. We're all in different parts of the country, and you get to
Yes,
learn with students from all over the country. Am I right?
yes, that's correct. It's honestly just an amazing experience to meet everyone across the entirety of South Africa.
Absolutely. So tell us, Martinez, you joined CambriLearn in grade 10, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I joined in perhaps grade 10.
And what grade are you in now?
I'm currently in grade 12.
Grade 12. So you've been with us for quite a while. So what surprised you
Yeah,
most about studying online? Coming from a school
honestly,
classroom into the online space, what surprised you the most?
the flexibility of it, and also the hands-on support you get, not from only the teachers, but also, like mentioned before, the support desk. They honestly have been so helpful. In any times where I feel maybe confused or so, I can always contact someone. Compared to in a traditional schooling environment, you can't really have direct help or support or one-on-one help from a teacher or support in general. So honestly, the support in total has been life-changing and changed my view of education completely.
Absolutely. So you say that you get more support now online than you did in the classroom?
So much more. So much more support. Not only hands-on, but academically as well from the teachers. They really do go far out of their way.
So I suppose a lot of people have that misconception that once you go online, you're going to have less support. But from your experience, you say you get more support, correct?
So much more. And honestly, like I mentioned before, the academical change that it made on my physical marks itself is astonishing. And also, it builds so much more courage as a student to go and ask someone. Often in traditional schooling environments, you might be shy, or many times the teachers don't have the time to physically help you one on one. And CambriLearn has made it so accessible and easy for me to talk to my teachers or talk to support on how I can resolve a possible issue or so.
That's wonderful. And how did the flexibility change your approach to learning?
Really, it changed so much. I mean, it's the flexibility of it is so wonderful because, for example, if I have something on or I have an extracurricular activity or so, then I can go and do it in the extra time that I have. We have a set timetable that we work on, and I can change how my day works according to that. So that's the wonderful thing about CambriLearn as well, is they give you all the necessary information. They can tell you when your classes are, and we also get the recording. So that just enables me to review so much more than I could have in a traditional schooling environment.
Absolutely. And then you have all this flexibility, but are you accountable? What happens if you miss a
So
lesson?
much.
What happens
Honestly,
if you don't hand in your score?
so yes, yes. So honestly, we built such a relationship with the teachers over time, actually. So I'm one of those types of students. I have been in every single class. It's almost like an OCD thing for me. So when a teacher doesn't with me and my parents to ask, "Hey, why haven't you been in class or so?" So really, they do care. They do want you to be in class and learn and develop even more. So honestly, in a traditional schooling environment, when you're not in class, they're like, "Oh, you might be absent or so," and then you can't catch that up. But with CambriLearn, the teachers want you to be there. They want you to be in class and learn and evolve and develop so much more than you already have.
And so tell me, what advice would you give to students considering CambriLearn?
I would say be ready for a life-changing viewpoint. Your viewpoint is going to change completely of education. I mean, you are going to gain so much more skills, not only academically, but you will be more independent. You will be the one that drives your education. So when you get your report card, you can fully say, I worked for that. And I pushed myself to do my tasks every day, do my worksheets, do my quizzes. And it's so much more independent. I mean, I use these skills not only academically, but personally as well. I drive it more to a personal standpoint where I say to myself, okay, I have to do this, this, and this now. And if I don't do this, this might be the consequences. So there's a lot more accountability to it, which really helps so much more in the future.
Great. Thank you so much, Martinez. So nice talking to
Thank you
you. And
very
it's so
much.
great to hear from one of our students that are actually using our products and use our teachers to hear straight from you. So thank you, Martinez.
Thank you
Let's
very
move on
much.
to
It was
Hannah.
an honor.
Great. Thank you, Martinez. Hannah,
Hi, sir.
how are you this evening?
I'm great in yourself.
No, great. Thank you. So tell us, Hannah, you did surprisingly well in something very special. Tell us about that. Tell us about your achievement.
My project was focused on designing and
Ah, no,
building.
but tell us, sorry, just give everyone a bit of background over here. So Hannah was a gold medalist at a science expo, and she's an online schooler, so school student. So this is very interesting. So Hannah, tell us more about your project.
My project was a stethoscope. Um, it was for the Young Scientist Expo. It was a lot of work. It was hard, but it was worth it in the end. I will say that if you don't like to research and really dive into something, that the expo won't be for you. But I do encourage you to try it out because it really is a phenomenal experience.
So tell us, Hannah, how were you able to do so? So what Hannah did was she developed a affordable stethoscope that can be made out of everyday materials bought from a hardware store to help with what's the word
Funded.
uh, underfunded health facilities, and she did very well. So tell us, Hannah, how were you able to do that and your schooling at the same time?
Um, CambriLearn offers so much flexibility. You really don't have to, if you are busy and you don't have enough time to like join a lesson, you can always just RSVP and get that live lesson recorded session, which is what really helped me. Also, the flexibility of the like dashboard and the assessments and how you structure your timetable is what really, really helped me because unlike a traditional school where you're given a task or you're given an assessment and you're given a due date, you can't really extend that due date. Teachers in like traditional schools don't really know you like by name. Whereas in on online school, they know you, they see you, they hear you, they care about you, and if you miss a lesson, it's like totally fine. You can catch up because you're going at your own pace, not to a made timetable.
No, that's great. And then, so what inspired you to do this project as well?
What inspired me to do my project was after learning about the shortage about medical equipment in under-resourced clinics. A stethoscope is such a simple, but it's such an essential tool for doctors and nurses. But in many clinics, they don't have them because of the high cost. And it made me want to find a way to create an affordable version using everyday materials, but still make it work effectively. I wanted to really show that science and innovation can be used to solve real world problems and hopefully make a small difference in the healthcare accessibility.
Well, wonderful, Hannah. Congratulations. And I just think it's so wonderful that you've got that freedom to explore beyond the curriculum and to pursue something like that and do very well in it. And tell us about the support that you got from CambriLearn.
The personalized approach that CambriLearn offered made such a difference for me. It allowed me to manage my time in a way that worked best for my goals, like balancing my schoolwork with lessons and hours where I needed for research, experimenting, and building the prototypes. Instead of feeling like I was pressured to choose between my academics or my passion project, I could give both proper attention. The freedom helped me stay motivated because I could always study at my own pace while dedicating my real focus to something I really care deeply about. I believe that balance is one of the main reasons I was able to succeed at this Science Expo. It was also what made my overall education journey much more enjoyable.
Well, thank you very much, Hannah. And again, congratulations. Well, thank you, everybody, for meeting our students and meeting myself. And now we hand back over to Hugo. Thank you, Hugo.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. I was inspired by those learners. Sure, the level of maturity, huh? I don't think I had an ounce of that maturity when I was at school. That's what I'm thinking. But
And not
anyway,
just
well
maturity,
done,
but
guys.
sorry, but the independence that they have. Wow.
Correct. We spoke about that, but the autonomy shone through, didn't it? Right.
Absolutely.
But now it's the time of the Q&A, guys. That's what I'm here to moderate. So we've been encouraging to ask questions throughout in the box, in the Q&A box. And now I'd like to address some of them selectively. We won't be able to get through all of them, but we'll try and get through as many as we can tonight. So let's start with the curriculum questions. Cecilia, this is a common question. You know, the difference between Edexcel and Cambridge. So if you're currently doing Cambridge International exams for GCSEs or A-levels, but you want to change to Edexcel, difference, similarities, how can it be done?
So, look, there's so much to say about this, and it's also very subject specific. So I can tell you right now, we've had a recent case with English, for example, where I went and I spoke to various teachers and we looked at the difference between the AS Cambridge and the AS Edexcel curriculum. It's different. It's vastly different. Yes, of course, there's certain similarities, but I would say maybe probably 70%, there would be 70% similarities. So I would never, ever advise a parent or student to do, for example, AS business with Edexcel and then write the AS Cambridge exam. That would just be silly to do. So rather pick the curriculum. If you want to mix and match, that's perfectly fine. We understand a lot of students take the AS physics, chem, and bio, which is Edexcel, and then they might mix it with AS accounting for Cambridge. That's fine. But there are enough differences to make it that you wouldn't want to study for one exam board and then write the exam of another exam board. You're setting yourself up for failure and you're going to lose so many unnecessary marks. I mean, just again, I'm speaking now from my subjects, from accounting, economics, and business studies. There are small differences in the way they ask the questions, the way the marks are allocated. So rather just, you know, if you're studying a certain subject and you're aiming to write the Edexcel exam, you study the Edexcel syllabus with the Edexcel endorsed textbook. It's just the safest thing to do. And then, of course, just to remember that if you do move from IG to AS, there it would be a better move to move from, like, let's say, IG business to AS business. That's perfectly fine. But again, it would also just depend, you know, be subject specific. So I would rather meet with an education consultant to get specific advice on, which subjects you're doing. I hope I've explained that properly.
Thanks, Cecilia. Absolutely. But if you want more detail, please consult an educational advisor. Another question which often comes up for the British Exam Board, Cecilia, how early should they register to write those external exams before the actual examination date? And then
Well,
also, besides the fees, are there any other documents they require to enter those exams?
Well, I think usually when the registration period opens, the earlier you register, the better, because there are late fees that start applying. Now, I don't know offhand now exactly. I just know that the IG results were released, I think on Monday, and then the AS results were released last week. And registration for October, November has been open for a while. So I could be not 100% correct here, but I believe it's about 3.5 months before the exams that you're able to start registering. And like I say, I would register the earlier the better, so that you can secure your spot, number one. And number two, you don't want those late penalties, because they really, it's a lot of money. In terms of the documentation, it would be things like ID documents that you'd have to find out from the exam venue. And if you're in South Africa, they'd want like your identity document to make sure that you're a South African citizen. And I'm not sure what other documents to be 100% certain, but yeah, I would imagine would be your ID, and then just the information of what you actually want to write. And you then register as a private candidate, of course.
Cecilia, just in terms of requirements, I'm going to ask you again as well to answer this, although our client support team, customer support team has already said, by the way, you should register at least 4 months early for exams. But textbooks, how do I obtain textbooks? That's one of the things that our courses often require. It's a blended learning environment, right? They need both our online content, but also need an accompanying supplementary textbook. How do they obtain these textbooks?
So we do have a textbook. We've got a link that clients can click on the link, and they can get the information of all our endorsed or recommended textbooks. So a lot of the textbooks, you can get an e-version for the textbook. Not all of them. So more and more they come with e-versions. And what's quite amazing now, it's been, I think, for the last couple of years, you buy the physical textbook, and then you've got that little scratch on the inside of the textbook. And I'm speaking specifically the British curricula now, where you scratch it, and then you go to cambridge.org for the Cambridge textbook specifically, and then you have the online version. And it's great because you've got all the answers, you've got some additional worksheets, and it's all on cambridge.org. But it's not for all the textbooks. So the Edexcel textbooks, for example, you can buy the online version, or you can buy the physical textbook. For CAPS, it's mostly physical textbooks. So unfortunately, I don't have a blanket response. It really does just depend on the subject.
So I think you've mentioned the British and the South African. So this goes to the difference in their enrollment and academic calendars. Do we have a specific enrollment month or intake period, or do we allow enrollment all year round, Cecilia?
So for FET, in terms of when the students need to start with a curriculum, CAPS is a structured curriculum, specifically or more so from grade 9 up to grade 12. Now, the FET phase is 100% structured. So everybody has to start on the 14th of January, for example. Everybody has to have their first assignment in by the 3rd week. They all have to write their tests. It's become so strict with Sakai that next year they have to write their tests on specific days and specific times. The same with the exam. So there is no flexibility. The flexibility, as Martinez and Hannah alluded to, would be, if you miss the assignment today, it's not the end of the world. You can submit the assignment 2 days later. But the tests and the exams, very structured, especially because they're common exams that have to be written. So, the academic integrity needs to be protected of all these papers. But in terms of like missing a live lesson, it's okay, you can rewatch it. So that's where the flexibility is with FET. With British, it's completely flexible, but the majority of our students do sign up in January. So that's why our live lessons start in January, and that's the course that we follow. We then, we'll start with chapter 1 or lesson 1 in the first week, but that doesn't mean that students can't join in January, February, March, April, May. What it does mean, though, is that the live lessons won't link to the week that they're on, but they're all available on the system so they can re-watch them. And I've had people say to me, but how does that work? And I say to them, but it does, because it works for us perfectly. Students have come in, and when they want that flexibility, they want to write in October, November, for some reason, they've got to prepare in 4 months. They come, our system works for them, and we've seen it in the results. Maybe it's not ideal for some people, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want that complete flexibility, that's the British curriculum for sure. Whereas the structured curriculum, that's CAPS. But what's the benefit of CAPS is that you've got SPAs that contribute to your final exam mark. So that helps you boost your mark. Whereas with Cambridge, you write that one independent exam at the end of the year, and if you don't do well, sorry for you. But the benefit is you can write the exam, the next exam period, at a cost, of course.
Thanks, Cecilia. I've actually got a question for you now, Ivan. How do you ensure peer interaction during lessons?
Well, we encourage the students to turn their microphones on, their cameras on. And obviously, we get to know the students because we meet with them regularly. And we have discussions about various things. So we interact in those ways. Something that they quite enjoy are interactive quizzes. So every assignment week we'll do these quizzes, and the kids just love it. They say that it's like an adrenaline rush when their time is going and they don't know the answer, and they compete with each other. They're all competing for their top 3 to be in the top 3 or at least in the top 10. And so there's a lot of these sorts of interactions that we have in the lessons that keep the students engaged.
Thanks. So I've got a question now for our academic support team, actually. Janice, over to you. This question I think is valid. A lot of our students have additional needs. They need concessions for assessments, for all assessments, testing, and exams. And they might have just special needs. They might have ADHD or be diagnosed as on the spectrum. How do you accommodate those? How does online learning allow them to excel?
So the first, we've been talking a lot about flexibility, and that is a huge benefit to these students, because if they're having issues with concentration or being able to focus on for any period of time, they can, as Cecilia just mentioned, even on the CAPS curriculum, structure their day the way they need to. So if a student has 40 minutes worth of focus time, they can spend 40 minutes on their work, take a break, do something else, throw a ball, and come back and visit that again and continue their day that way. So there's flexibility within the day on both the main curricula we offer at the moment. Certainly far more flexibility on the British curriculum. So if the student really needs to slow things down, they can take longer to complete their courses, and we can, of course, extend them if they need extra time. So while our subscriptions run for 12 months, they can be extended. And then related to concessions, we can offer certain accommodations. So for example, if students have difficulty with reading or writing, we can put certain concessions in place. There's a process to follow to give them extra time. They can have assistance of scribes or readers. They might have difficulty with handwriting, and then they have a concession to use a word processor or to type their work. So there's various ways that we can accommodate students who have either learning difficulties or neurodivergence challenges or physical disabilities or difficulties that they're faced with, to help them get through their schooling program and get an exit school certificate ultimately.
Thanks, Janice. That's reassuring, actually, because I think it happens often. Now, here's a particular question I'm going to ask Cecilia, who is a mom of very young children herself. So Cecilia, how could this online working work for children as young as 4 years of age, right? We started early years from as young as 4. How does it actually work?
Okay, so that's a very good question, and I'm glad you asked that. So when a child is that young, anybody who knows a child, you go, your kids are big now, but no
Yes.
4-year-old can sit in front of the computer and work on their own. And so what we do for all our younger years, from 4 years old right up until I think it's grade 6, we equip the parent with the skills to teach the child. Now I'm a teacher. I teach A levels, but I know nothing about teaching a little child, nothing. And I've realized it now, having my own little kids. So we have created programs that pretty much tell the parents what they need to do to teach specific concepts to the children. When the kids do have their live lessons and their Q&As, whatever interactions with the teachers, mostly the parents sit there with them, just to make sure that the kids are actually listening and behaving themselves, especially when they're younger. It gets a bit better when they get a little bit older, but so much support from either a parent or a full-time tutor is needed to ensure that the learner is working through the different tasks and going outside and collecting stones and doing various activities. I mean, it's amazing the activities that these little kids can do, but you don't know about it unless you're a teacher, unless you have that actual experience. So that's what our teachers are doing. They are sharing that experience with the parents, and then the teachers can do the marking themselves, just to ensure that they're objective when it comes to that. And then, of course, when the kids get older, then they could work independently.
Thank you very much, Cecilia. Sorry, I think I almost interrupted you there, but I'm very conscious of the time. And so I'm going to wrap this up now in terms of the Q&A. But please don't worry, parents, all attendees. If we didn't get your question, our team is standing by. You will see a QR code shortly where you can book a free consultation at a time that suits you. And there we go. And that will actually enable you to get more personalized, intimate time anyway, specific to your child. So I do recommend you scan that code and are able to then book a consultation. But I do also want to ensure that we have sparked your interest. So I hope that we can offer you the next step. If this session has indeed triggered something for you, now's the perfect time to take the next step. Find out more about CambriLearn, scan that QR code, book to enjoy this year's prices into next year. Avoid the annual price increases by actually taking up our price lock offer. It's like a price freeze available now for a limited time, so that you can then lock in this year's fees and know what you will be paying for next year's entire year of schooling. Follow us on social media to keep up to date with our latest news and product developments. For example, we launched the American, which requires no textbooks whatsoever and is entirely examined online and is fully asynchronous. Look out for that. We will have special offers and further upcoming webinars. We're doing these on a regular basis to keep in touch with you. So if you prefer to chat with someone one-on-one, we'd love to hear from you. Use the same link or QR code. Book the consultation with one of our education advisors. Over to you, Cecilia, to close up for tonight.
Thank you very much. So I'd just like to say thank you very much to everybody for joining us tonight and for considering a different kind of future for your child. At CambriLearn, we believe that school should work for students, not the other way around. And when we personalize learning, support passions, and remove barriers, that's when kids thrive. Because every child is born unstoppable, and we're here to make sure that nothing stands in their way. Good night, and we hope to speak to you soon.
They told us to wait. Wait to be taught. Wait to be chosen. Wait for the bell to ring. But what if you're not built for waiting? What if you learn faster or slower? If your body needs the morning to move, or your brain needs silence to think. They didn't see what we saw. They didn't see us fail. Try again. Cry. Get back up. Again, they only saw the podium, the scholarship, the pass mark, the smile. They didn't see what it took, but we did. And we're not done. We weren't made to fit in rows. We weren't made to wait. We were born unstoppable.